If your mind has been racing lately, replaying conversations, anticipating problems, or carrying quiet pressure, Jesus speaks directly to this. There is a way to slow your thoughts, and it starts here. This is the Unhurried Way, a rhythm of intentional living, where your heart, your mind, and even your body learn to move at a pace of grace. It's a posture, a way of being, shaped not by hurry but by abiding in the presence of God. A way of living where even in the busiest seasons, you can remain guided, grounded, and deeply satisfied in God, because impact does not require hurry. In 1979, Bob Marley wrote Redemption Song, and in it he sang the now famous line, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds." Those words were inspired by a 1937 speech from the well-known political activist Marcus Garvey. But what these men were trying to express was already written in Scripture. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5 says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." Mental hurry is real. Hurry doesn't always show up in our schedules. Sometimes it shows up in our thoughts. The mind is where many of us live rushed, without ever moving our feet. We replay conversations, we anticipate problems, we rehearse worst case scenarios, we carry invisible lists, invisible expectations, invisible fears, invisible deadlines. This is mental slavery at its best. Mental slavery is anything that keeps your mind from resting in truth, anything that keeps you from living guided, grounded, and deeply satisfied in God. In a biblical sense, emancipate yourself from mental slavery is an invitation to step outside of patterns, fears, and inherited beliefs that keep you small, hurried, or disconnected from who God created you to be. Not all bondage looks like chains. Sometimes it looks like, well, the voice that says you're not enough, the pressure that you carry to perform, the fear of disappointing others, the habit of rushing through our days, the belief that peace must be earned, the silent pressure we carry, like, I should be further along, I should be doing more, I should have figured this out by now. Emancipation is a spiritual act, not just a mental one. When I read the Gospels, there are chapters I return to just to study Jesus' unhurried nature. And in those chapters, it seems like Jesus is met with one thing after the next. In a much smaller, everyday sense, my life feels similar. I'm doing good things, things that God has called me to. But it's the changing the diapers, it's the potty training, it's the homeschooling, it's the client task, it's the laundry, then more laundry, then more laundry. And Mark 5 is no different. 3 urgent matters collide back to back. A demon-possessed man, a dying 12-year-old girl, and a woman suffering for 12 years. Most of us would be overwhelmed just by one of these. But Jesus moves through all three with zero internal hurry. When Jesus steps off the boat, Mark 5 tells us, a man possessed by a legion of demons ran toward him. Not one demon, but thousands. Jesus doesn't rush. He doesn't react emotionally. He doesn't get flustered. His mind is settled. Because here's the truth. A scattered mind reacts. A settled mind responds. Jesus responds. After healing the man, he crosses back over the lake and a crowd is waiting. This is where we meet Jairus, who falls at his feet begging for help for his dying daughter. Jesus agrees to go with him, but on the way he is interrupted again by a woman who touches his garment. Jairus' daughter is dying. Every second matters. Yet Jesus pauses long enough for the woman to tell him the whole truth. And while he is speaking to her, messengers arrive. Mark 5:35 tells us, and it says, while Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. Your daughter is dead, they said. Why bother the teacher anymore? Your daughter is dead, they said. Why bother the teacher anymore? Most people would collapse under the weight of that moment. But Jesus doesn't. He simply says to Jairus, do not be afraid, only believe. Don't be afraid, only believe. He did not tell Jairus to think harder or fix it yourself or carry this weight. He said, do not fear, believe. Believe that it is not too late. Believe that it is not impossible. Believe that it is not over. Believe that I am Alpha. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Believe that I am the resurrection and the life. Believe that I am who I said I am. Do not be afraid. Believe. Where does mental hurry hide for you? Is it in the hurried overthinking? Not the thoughtful overthinking, not the kind that helps you plan, but the looping, spiraling kind that drains your peace? Is it in the fear of disappointing others, in the pressure to perform, in the constant planning and replanning of your days? Name where hurry is hiding. Name the pressure out loud. And you will find that silent pressure loses power when it becomes spoken pressure. Because mental hurry is anywhere fear speaks louder than belief. Anywhere your thoughts run ahead of God's promises. Anywhere anxiety becomes the narrator of your day. Anywhere your mind rehearses what could go wrong instead of resting in what God has already said is true. Mental hurry hides in the space between what you fear and what you believe. And Jesus steps into the gap with one invitation. Do not be afraid, only believe. Let's take a moment to pause. Our scripture pause for today is Mark 5:36. Do not be afraid, only believe. Our breath prayer. Quiet my fear, Lord. Strengthen my belief. And our promise to claim, in Jesus' presence, it's not too late, not impossible, not over.